been a while since I've done a monthly reading dump kind of video, so grab yourself a snack, a drink. Like I said, snacky snack. We're probably going to be here a while because I've read a lot and just haven't really got around to it, so I'm just going to dump it out in this video. I'm wondering maybe if I should do like a vlog kind of video instead and just kind of like vlog it as I go. I don't know if people prefer monthly wrap-ups or like reading vlogs. Something I'm looking into in the future, but I kind of like just sitting here and doing like reading dumps. If you're curious, my cat is up in the window. That's quiet. She's just chilling like a villain. So if you see the curtain moving around, it's just quiet. So, to start off this video, I'll start with an author I recently found on Etsy, and I've actually really been enjoying her books, and I hopefully hope I can afford her other books in the future. I'm trying to save money right now, so I'm kind of on a book buying ban, but this author is Elise Winters, and these were the two books of hers that I started out with, and that is Live, Laugh, Lurk and Seduction of the Psychopomp, or Psychopomp. I can never pronounce it right, and every time I Google it, I just feel like it doesn't sound right, so if I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry. So we'll start off with Live, Laugh, Lurk. Look how cute this cover is. So, as you may have guessed, this is a Mothman romance, but instead of just one Mothman, that's just kind of the name of his species. They are Mothmen. And this was a really cute, like, cozy romance. It's got like a little bit of smut towards the end, which I don't really feel like it fit the theme of the book very well. It kind of felt a little out of place. It is quick to get through though. It was only like a page long and easy to skip. But like, because the whole book was like a cozy romance, it kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. But yeah, like I said, this one is really cute. It's basically about this girl, and she kind of goes to the city for college and stuff, and she meets this Mothman who ends up being her neighbor. And at first he seems really stern and standoffish, but then she realizes he's like this cozy little cuddle bug of a man, and it's really cute and very quick to get through. This is only, where is it? That's adverts. It's only 184 pages long, so it's quite quick to get through. I highly recommend it. It was really cute, and if you don't really like spice or smut, like I said, this scene at the end is really easy to skip through. Seduction of a Psychopomp was also really good. This one definitely had a bit more substance to it than the other one. This one also has like cozy vibes, and the smut in this one didn't feel as out of place. This one definitely felt like it had more build up to it, because this one is more focused on the romance. This is basically about an arranged marriage between this Grim Reaper and a Fae princess. Basically, she is dying and has an illness, but the Reaper has like these magic powers where if they get married and he binds himself to her, can help her and cure her and keep her from dying. So he basically does this arranged marriage to keep her from dying, and it's actually just this really sweet story about these two people growing together and learning to like each other. And it's not like too horribly smutty towards the end, but there is like a little bit of it, which again was easy to skip through. But this was actually a really good book, and the characters were definitely likable. What? Quiet? Cat's judging me. Sorry. I was waiting for her to jump off the bed. The Scattered Bones by Nicole Sacrano. I also found her on Etsy. And this book is so good. This actually... She's going for my drink. Trying to knock it over with her tail. This was so good. This book actually kind of rekindled my love and interest for romantasy. I was so burned out on it for a while, and this actually kind of restored my faith in it. So this is, I'm not sure how to describe the writing style. It feels like something out of Greek mythology, or just like any kind of mythology really, where it has like the gods and she has to go on this epic journey, and she basically has to like go and repiece her husband back together, because the point of view in this book is actually really good, because each chapter it skips between like the past and the present. So it starts out with like the present in the story timeline, and then it'll skip like to her memories and like the past events that like led up to what happened to her husband and why she's on this journey. And it's really good. So she basically angered one of the gods, and as like retribution they like cut up her husband and then spread out his pieces throughout the world, and she has to go and recollect these pieces and put them back together. And it's just really good. The ending is really wholesome. It's like a dark fantasy, but the characters themselves aren't dark, you know? There's still like a hope to them, and I just really liked it. I really liked the characters. I really liked how human they felt. Like, they kind of had like that badass quality, but they still had like the flaws to them and stuff. And I just really liked the environment and the way she is forced to interact with the other characters, and like how she learns about the other gods and stuff. It's just very good, and I really highly recommend it. It's also a fairly quick read, and it is a standalone. So if you don't like series or anything, or you just don't have the time, then you can easily pick this up and get through it. It's really warm out today, so my mouth is kind of drying out, but I probably shouldn't be drinking an energy drink. It's probably not helping that. But the next series, I absolutely fell in love with this series. It is a monster romance. The first book I wasn't so sure about, but I read the second one, totally hooked. This is A Soul to Keep, which is the first book in the Dustwalker Bride series by Opal Rain. Absolutely loved it. Like, I kind of had mixed feelings about it, mostly because of the writing style. I wasn't like too on board with it because it was just really simplistic and not like well, how do you say that, like put together, I guess. Not structured right, that's a better way of saying it. It wasn't very structured very well, but I was really hooked on it. I really liked the characters. I really loved the idea and the concept. There were a few things in it towards the end I didn't really like. I felt like the villains felt a little cartoony, which is okay. It did get better in the second one. I also feel like the main character was very dismissive of another character's essay story. Like, that's not, I didn't really like that. Like, I get she's a villain and you're not supposed to sympathize with her, but like, I don't feel like blowing off someone's sexual assault story is the way to go. But otherwise I really liked the book. And I do remember, I think it was in the second one, she said she's Australian, so that makes sense as to why the writing style is different. And I guess people were really getting on her for like her spelling of things, which I didn't even notice because I knew it was like common sense that like the British and stuff spelled it different. So in my brain, I didn't like process that it was really spelled differently. So, but yeah, the second one, A Soul to Heal. Absolutely love this one. I think this is my favorite so far. I'm currently reading the third one, and I gotta say, I do think that so far this one is my favorite. This one goes through so many like relatable topics and heavy topics. I just feel like this one had a clearer direction than the first one. The first one felt like the author had an idea and just kind of put it out there without really knowing how people were going to react to it. And I think since people liked it, she put more effort in this one. You could definitely tell that like the story structure is better. The writing style even improved quite a bit. And the character feels more coherent. I felt like in the first one, you couldn't really get like a good idea of like what the character was really like, because I feel like the character's personality was kind of all over the place. But I also feel like this main character was just a lot more relatable. She has like a lot of self-esteem issues and that feeling of like not being wanted and then struggling with like the way you look and stuff. So I feel like that's just really relatable, easy to kind of get behind her. And also Magnar, this Duskwalker, is like the biggest, like, I don't know, he's just like the cutest, like cuddly teddy bear of like a monster. Like he's just so, I don't know, I really liked his personality too. He's just really cute. And the character development in this one is just really good. Like they're completely different characters by the end of the book, but in a good way. It makes sense. There's like a lot of things at the beginning that kind of make you go, but then they learn from those mistakes. They learn from it and they grow from it and they even address it, and it's just done really, really well. And like it also had like the really cool concept of where do Duskwalkers come from? Like, you know, how do they have babies? What other babies are like? And it was just really good, really interesting. I think the only thing I didn't like about this one is the way they address postpartum depression. It, I don't feel like it's kind of accurate. Like, how would you say it? Postpartum depression is something that happens when you give birth, where the flood of hormones like imbalances your brain chemistry and can cause forms of depression, and it can take years to get over, and sometimes some people just don't get over it at all. And I feel like the way they addressed it just didn't feel very accurate, because like she's afraid of her child or doesn't want to be around her child because it is a Duskwalker. And when it's a baby, they don't know, they don't have the humanity to really tell right from wrong. So they just go off of like animalistic instinct. So when she's like afraid, it tries to attack her and stuff. So she's like afraid of it. And she just says like, oh damn, postpartum is like a bitch or something like that. And I'm like, no, that's not what that is. You like your kid for a different, you don't like your kid for a different reason. But she does learn to love it in the end, and it's really heartfelt. I don't know, like I've never like felt so heartbroken at the end of a book before, but this one is really good. And hopefully I'll get through the third one soon. Okay, I've gone through a lot of audiobooks this month. Where's Libby? There's Libby. So I'm so glad I found this one on Libby and didn't invest the money in it, because I ended up really hating it. And that is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. And I don't know, I knew there's mixed reviews on this one, but I don't know, I didn't think I was gonna hate it as much as I did. So basically, this is about a girl who is like, kind of stereotypical. She's struggling, she's living paycheck to paycheck, and then she finds like this super cheap apartment for rent. This guy wants a roommate. It's only like $200 for like this huge giant flat, and it's like, something that like a super rich person could afford. And she sees nothing wrong with this price tag. And one of her friends is like, well, that's questionable. But so of course she moves in, meets the guy, just stereotypically finds out that he's a vampire in like one of those shocking ways, because like his friend left like blood in the fridge or something like that. And I just didn't think it was very good. It was very slow, like halfway through, and he's still like learning the whole how to be human thing, even though he's like, I don't remember how old exactly it said he was, but he had like woken up for like a month, and he'd been asleep since like the 1920s, I guess. And he like can't figure out how modern day works. It's very full of tropes. It's full of every single vampire trope that I hate. And I think that's probably why I hated it so much. But like this guy, I was not convinced of this romance, because like it just wasn't there. It took halfway through for it to get anywhere. And then I think I'd be embarrassed around this guy, because he like acts like it'd be like dating your grandfather in public. I don't know. It's weird, because like his friend is also a vampire, but he's been awake the whole time. And so for some reason his friend just couldn't teach him like about modern day stuff. It had like a lot of inconsistencies in it, where he didn't have like pots and pans in his kitchen and stuff. And so the girl was like, oh, do you just eat out a lot? And he's like, oh, haha, yeah, I forgot. Well, he's like, I'll go and buy you some pots and pans tonight. So he can figure out how to make it to a grocery store and pay for pots and pans. But then like a week later, there's like this whole part in the book where she's embarrassed out of her mind, because he can't figure out how to order a coffee at a coffee stand. And I'm like, I hate this so much. This humor just does not hit at all. And that's kind of the thing that confuses me about this book, is that it's aimed at adults, but like the humor is for like 10-year-olds. Like this is something that like a kid would find funny. I don't know, I hated it. And it could have been a cute concept, but like, if I remember correctly, they were in Chicago, and she's just like, yeah, you gotta like buy and carry around coffee to look normal and stuff. And I'm like, it's pretty normal for people to like not like coffee and buy coffee. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. And like this coffee shop, they have like these grand Luna Blonde thingies, and I'm like, yeah, I'd be confused out of my mind too. You don't even gotta be like a 200-year-old vampire. And I think the thing that annoyed me the most about this book was just the way he talks. Like authors, for some reason, think that like dialect from past time periods is like super serious sounding, like something out of a textbook. And it's like, they did have like their own slang and lingo. And this guy's from the 1920s, and he does not sound like he's from the 1920s. He sounds like he's from like the 1800s. And I'm like, 1920s English slang, not really that different from now. I'm just saying. I don't know. I didn't like it. My Funny Demon Valentine by Aurora Asher. This one was fun. This one was a fun, guilty pleasure ride. This one was kind of funny. They're like, we know why you're reading this book. So here's all the smut. We'll get all the smut out of the way in the first couple chapters, and then we'll progress with the story. And it was actually really fun. It did kind of annoy me a little bit because these are like 1,000-year-old demons, and they act like, not like teenagers necessarily, but just like 21-year-olds that like discovered a club for the first time. So that kind of felt like a little out of place and weird, but once he meets the main character and like the story gets going, it's actually really good. I don't really think I like the way it ended. Like, I'm excited to get to the second book, but like the way the first one left off felt very, I don't know, like it makes sense because there's like this stuff that happened between like her mom and her dad, and her mom had every right to be upset at his dad, but like she just made it really weird. Like, they had like this very loving consensual relationship, and then she tried to turn around and act like the dad was like a predator because she found out he's like an immortal angel kind of guy. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, you have every right to be like upset about being lied to, but acting like he was like some kind of predator when you got together when you were an adult and you had a very consensual and loving relationship is kind of weird. And it's really weird because the author, I'm not really kind of sure what point she was trying to make. Like, her mom was talking about how like she was telling her daughter she couldn't date this demon, this immortal guy, because she would get old. She's like, people would think you were his mother or like his grandmother. And I'm like, that is so vain. That is such a vain reason to not like be with someone. Like, usually when those conversations come up in books, it's about how they'll die before you and like, you know, feeling that grievance and the loss of that. Instead, they're just like, no, you'll look old. You'll be like his grandmother. He wouldn't like someone who looks like his grandmother. And I'm like, it's definitely an interesting take. It's definitely a different conversation to have, but it's just like, I don't know. It just seems so vain that it just kind of like put me off on the book a little bit. I was like, that's weird, but okay. Like, who cares? You know you're not his grandmother. I don't know. Anyway. The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This one was actually a really cute, wholesome, quick read to get through. Oh, sorry. This is about a girl who is a ghost editor for a famous author, and she goes in to try to explain to her editor why she can't turn in her manuscript, and she finds she has a new editor, which is this very hot, handsome guy, and she's like going through this breakup with her ex, and he's like kind of that stereotypical douchebaggy I'm better than you kind of guy who's also doing a book. And her dad dies, and then she has to go to his funeral, and she can see like spirits and stuff, and then the editor guy gets hit by a car and she starts seeing his ghost, and then you can kind of see where it goes from there. And then there's that kind of cliche plot twist, but also not a plot twist, where you're like, oh, he's not really. But it's actually a really nice story, and it had a lot to do with like grieving and loss, and it was really good. It's done really well, even though like the plot twist is a little cliched. We've seen it done before, but like it works for this book. If you find it on discount or you find it on Libby, I highly recommend picking it up. I apologize. I almost choked on my spit there for a minute. That's embarrassing. This next one I read was really cute. This is Love and Other Conspiracies by Mallory Marlowe. And this actually taught me a whole lot about conspiracies that I didn't know about. I love conspiracies and like cryptids and all that. I'm not really sure I believe in any of them, but I do think they're fun to just kind of think about and look at from time to time. And this one is just really cute. It's about this girl who, she's like not like a director. Maybe she was a director. I can't remember if she was like a director or a scriptwriter, but she was like given the opportunity to make a show, and she can't really decide on what she wants to do. And then she's listening to podcasts, and this guy who is a conspiracy theorist pops up. She really likes his show, and she gets in contact with him, and they start making like this conspiracy show, and they do like these ghost hunts and stuff. And it's really fun. Really cute story about how these two end up falling in love. Someone who just really doesn't believe in that kind of thing at all, and this like dead serious I love this kind of thing. And it's just very cute and wholesome, and it's really funny because like she was asking him like, is there any conspiracies you don't believe in? And he's like, well, I don't believe in the moon landing. And she's like, why? And he's like, it would take 411,000 people to fake the moon landing. And I'm like, wait, is that real? And I googled it, and yeah, it would take roughly 400,000 people to fake the moon landing. So there you go, learn something new. And I just really enjoyed this one. It's really cute, it's fun, it's quick to get through. If you see it for cheap or you find it on Libby, I highly recommend picking it up. Alright, on to my Audible. Yes. Where's my library? There's my library. Mimic and Me. I've been obsessed with this series. I know, finally something that's not like a romance. But this one's hilarious. This is a lit RPG. This is a lot like Shrubly, but this series is hilarious, and I'm so excited because the 4th book is coming out in the next couple weeks. I think it's coming out June 4th, if I remember correctly. I think so. I wasn't expecting it to come out so soon, so I'm so excited for it. But yeah, Mimic and Me is basically about, it's like this guy, he's like a rogue slash ranger. Actually, I think he was just a ranger if I remember correctly. It's been a couple weeks, more like a month, but he's basically like the lowest class in this world. Basically all the high-ranking classes are like nobles and stuff. They get like the magic, and then they try to keep like the everyday people on the lower tiers, and they get like the kind of crappy classes like the ranger and stuff like that. So he's kind of like left in this dungeon to die by these nobles that had hired him to guide him through these dungeons. And then he finds this mimic who ends up bonding with him over food, and as basically a gesture for saving the mimic and feeding him, he ends up bonding with him like in a symbiotic kind of way. So he becomes part mimic, and it's just really good. It's such a fun, like goofy little story, and there is like this broader overarching story of where he meets some other nobles, and they go on this quest, and then they find out that like there's this darkness to the land, and by the time we get to the 3rd book, we realize that the mimic is kind of part of this overarching story, and it's just really good. I can't really talk about it in detail without spoiling anything, and it kind of bothers me because it's so funny, and there's so many good parts I want to talk about, but like you just have to take my word for it. And then the last book I've read, I just finished this last week, and this is the Magic Side Wolfbound series. This was like the bundle pack of 4. I had a credit on Audible, and I just kind of bought this randomly because I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And so the first book is Wolfmarked, Untamed Fate, Dark Lies, and Shadow Kissed. So 4 books, and I got the whole set for 1 credit, and it was like the best investment I probably randomly made in an audiobook. Like, it literally just popped up in my recommendations, and I was like, that sounds good. I didn't even like preview or anything for it, but it's just like the whole set for 1 credit. It had good reviews, so I was like, I might as well give it a try, and I do not regret it. It's really good. It had this really nice, like, big overarching story. It had this awesome epic battle. It was a little slow to start in the first book, but like it kept a really good consistency and pace throughout each book, which is something that doesn't usually happen. I always feel like the middle book is always like a slog to get through. It always feels like a filler, but like there was a slow spot, like a slow kind of ish spot in the 3rd book, but like it started to pick up again, and then the 4th one was just so good. So this is basically about a girl who lives in a town kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and she doesn't know that she has like magic powers or anything. Her family like moved out to kind of hide her from that type of life, so in the start of the book she has no idea who she is or like what she is until she meets this guy who ends up being a werewolf and like an alpha of the pack, and these werewolves are after her, but she doesn't know why, of course, because she doesn't know anything about this world or life. So she gets attacked by these werewolves, and then that's how she gets involved with the guy. And then she tries to flee the city, and she realizes she has an aunt in another city, and then finds out that this city is like a magic city, and that like werewolves and magic and all of that is real, and her aunt is like you know, she's a sorcerer, I think is what they call them, if I remember correctly. And it's just it's really good. And like, if you like werewolves and you love paranormal books and you like things that have like a little bit of romance, but it's not the main focus of the story at all, then I highly recommend this one. It is really good. And it has like this huge epic battle in the 4th book, and it's just so good, so good. I want to talk about it, but I feel like if I talk more about it, then it really gives away like the overall plot, the story, and like the build up to it. And I don't want to do that. I want you guys to just go into it and just experience it. So yeah. I think that's everything. Yes, I believe that was the one I left off on. I'm currently reading the 3rd Dustwalker Bride book now, so yeah, that series is pretty good. I just binged it in like a week and a half, all 4 of them. It's great. But yeah, I hope you kind of enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like these monthly wrap-ups, or if you'd rather see like a vlogging type video. I'm interested to know what people like watching the most, because sometimes just dumping everything at once can be like a lot for people, but then a lot of people like it that way, because then I can like put up timestamps, and then you could just skip to each book review if you wanted to. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, thank you for joining me in my video and listening to me ramble. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them. If there's any of them that you thought look interesting and you want to read, let me know. Just overall, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.